next question I'd like to kind of go through is really talk about selecting major your tool. You mentioned that you obviously went down and you talked about why IDP, but how did you actually come to a conclusion? I'm going to go with AntWorks, for example. What was your process to actually select us?
hmm Yeah, and I think I've mentioned too that we were looking for an IDP type solution that we can configure for quite a while. Um, and the process of selecting a tool there, there wasn't a lot of options that we saw out there until we learned about AntWorks, and we went through um, the sales pitch, the presentation, the introductions, and Drew told me how great AntWorks was, and blah blah blah. Right?
And you're still
It's a
talking to, and
sales.
you're still talking to
So
me
I,
today.
I and I went through that, right? But you know, if you're in risk, you're obviously you're skeptical, right? So for me, it wasn't having somebody say, "Oh, yeah, this tool is so great and it can solve all of your problems." Okay, that's great, but we have to, again, going back to something Anil said, you got to show me rather than tell me, right? So we went down the path of, okay, well, if we're gonna say that, normal business people with no coding background can configure this tool and lift data from images, let's go out and prove it. And that's exactly what we had to do. And so we did a pilot with AntWorks on a use case that we had recently experienced quite a bit of pain with because it was a manual review of images in a system. um, and one of, I think, the conditions of that pilot that was important, because if this condition was met, it would prove the viability of this IDP tool. And we don't need somebody to go in and configure this tool for us. We have got to prove that somebody from Major's team can take this tool, configure it, and get a reasonably accurate output of the data from that image. Um, and it took some time to get through that. Um, I know you wanted to help us a lot, and we made you sit on the sidelines, but it eventually proved out that yes, we can take somebody with a non-coding background and they can lift data from images and we can start automating.